So welcome. All right. For props tonight, you'll need 2 blocks, a strap, and a rolled up mat. Let's begin. So start sitting cross-legged and prop yourself up on anything underneath your hips that helps you to sit comfortably so that you're not feeling like crunched or strained in your joints, in your knees or your hips. And once you've found a comfortable seat, check in with your breath. So just let your hands fall where they fall naturally. And then switch the quality of your breathing right now. So starting to breathe in Ujjayi, breathing in a way that is consciously supportive. So using your breath to feed in oxygen and really support the systems in your body. So for those of you who are here live, we've been talking about injuries that we're working with. Send your breath to or towards your injuries, feeding that support to where you're working on healing in your body. I'll also share, I think like many of us in our community, I had my first COVID shot. And so I got knocked down pretty hard for the last few days after the shot. And so in my practice tonight, I just really need to breathe this like support in for my immune system. So really working tonight with that tool of breath support. And then close your eyes or choose a spot on the floor to just hold your eyes. And I want you to feel around with your breath in your neck and your jaw and your shoulders. So the whole area from like your sternum and collarbones up, the tops and fronts of your shoulders, and your upper half of your shoulder blades. And as you assess here what you've got going on in your upper chest and your upper back and shoulders and neck and jaw, it might be helpful to just go ahead and turn your head from one side to one side and then to the other, just feeling for your range of motion, and then also noticing the muscles that respond in terms of starting to like tweak or grab. You might look up and down and kind of scanning around for a spot in your chest, upper back, neck, or jaw that you'll work with in your practice tonight. And if it's helpful to you, go ahead and actually like put your hands on your spot. So welcome, Anya. We're just scanning around in the neck and the jaw, the chest and the upper back and shoulders for an area that's feeling tense, tweaky, or anything else to work with in the practice tonight. And then with or without your hands on your area, feel for whether or not you have breath access right now. Like, can you get your breath up underneath your hands? or underneath the bones or the tissues of the area. And so for the rest of the practice, in each shape and asana that we go into, I'll keep reminding you to come back to being aware of your area, feeding your breath, your supportive breath to this area. And I want to invite you to up level your yoga practice even more by bringing in a quality of gentleness to your area. So a lot of times what happens automatically and habitually when we have a place in our body that's hurting or injured or tight is we brace. And so really feeling through the practice tonight for a different approach to working with injury or with pain or with an area. And breathing in just all of your gentle and tender loving care. To change the quality of the spot you're working with. Let's just get curious. If this sounds really improbable to you, I challenge you to stay connected and curious and just find out if it works or not for you. For pranayama, we'll do Brahmari. And the way I want to do this tonight is, well, first of all, I'll remind you, Brahmari is when you exhale with a hum. So it sounds like, and you go longer than that. And there is like no awesome way to do this on Zoom. I love it when we can like harmonize all our, humming together. So maybe just go ahead and mute yourself and you'll get to hear your own hum. And we'll do 3 rounds of Brahmari with your hands on your jaw. We'll do 3 rounds of Brahmari with your hands on your neck and or throat. And then we'll do 3 more rounds with your hands on your area. And if your area is like, right in between your shoulder blades or something, then you don't have to use your hands, okay? So let's start with 3 rounds of Brahmari. You'll bring the, it's like the cheek of your palms to your cheeks. Your thumb bones are gently cradling your jaw. Gentle. And the reason to have your hands touching and cradling your jaw here is to feel if you can get the sound vibration underneath your hands. So take an inhale, feeding breath support into your area. And then exhale with Brahmari. Inhale. Make sure that your jaw is loose and your teeth unclenched as you exhale with Brahmari breath, making as loud of a humming sound in any pitch that works for you as you can. Pull your low belly in at the bottom of the exhale to get all the air out. And we've got 1 more here. So inhale, feeding your breath up underneath your hands. And then exhaling with Brahmari, buzzing up, Feeling the vibration between your face, your jaw muscles, and your hands. Okay, next hand position. You can bring your palms to the side of your neck and wrap the fingertips supportively towards each other around the back of your neck. Or if you're working with like lymph and throat and thyroid, you can have your hands on the front of your neck, or you can have one in front and one behind. From here, take an inhale. Feel your breath help to lengthen your spine. Exhaling with Brahmari. Inhale, sending breath support to all of those mechanics and ingredients and tissues in your neck. And then exhaling again with Brahmari. Feeling the potency of the neck and the throat. It's like super, super powerful place in your body. Got one more round with your hands where you are, so filling up again. This place of, we got a lot of immune system stuff going on here. And then also this place from which you speak your truth in the world. This energetic passageway between your brain, the rest of your body, and all those other energy centers in your body back to your brain. So third hand position, place your hands or your fingertips or your mind's fingertips on the spot that you're working with tonight. And then feed in 3 more really big Brahmari breaths. Come back to Ujjayi breathing. Coming back to this high quality on your yoga mat breath, where you're really breathing in a way that's sacred, that's extraordinary, not just habitual breathing. Right? Okay, I want to do one more thing on the front of the throat. So if you've got a purple Coregeous ball, this would be the time when you can use it. And if you don't worry. I'm going to show you how to do this fascial release with your hands, okay? So if you have a ball, what you'll do is come to one side of your throat, press the ball gently against the delicate tissues, right, on the front of your throat, and then roll the ball in one direction. Roll the ball in towards your chin and your sternum to start with. And you can feel how that just kind of twists up the tissue. And you'll just roll from side to side that way. If you don't have a Coregeous ball, no worries, you have hands. So take one hand and then the other to the left side of your throat. So just one hand on top of the other. And you'll pull your hands. So you're using your hands to pull the skin of your throat down towards collarbones. And then from here, turn your chin away from your hands. Reach the chin up. Relax the lower mandible of your jaw. Let it hang. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So one hand and then the other. And Abby, yeah, you just would keep massaging with the ball. Drag the skin of the front of your throat down towards your collarbone. And then turn the chin. You can even jut out the bottom teeth. Release. All right, let's do this next series standing up just so you're not sitting in your joints cross-legged forever. So find your block, have your block, and come on up to standing. So some of you have been practicing with me these last few weeks and getting to work on some of the neck rehab stuff, neck physical therapy stuff. We've done before where you bring the strap behind your head and then you press your head into the strap. We're going to do something very similar today, but with a block. So you'll take your block, the fingertips are coming around the edges of the block, and the elbows will press in towards each other. The block then comes behind your head and presses into the base of your skull. And notice if in doing that, your rib cage just totally splayed out, and bring the ribs back over the pelvis, reaching tailbone down. From here, press your elbows in towards each other, and then try to make as many double chins as you can, pulling your chin in towards your face. Press the head into the block and the block into the head. I keep walking up to the screen to see your bodies closer, but it looks like you're all doing this wonderfully. So keep breathing. You don't need to clench your jaw to do this. What you're actually doing here with the double chin move is engaging the muscles in the front of your throat. Okay, to release, straighten your arms, reaching the block up to the sky. And just set it down. Now we'll get into the sides of the neck just a little bit more. So stand with your legs where they're comfortable. I've been playing with these moves for a lot of months now, and what I've learned for my spine is that doing these neck strengtheners while standing really helps my whole spine and pelvis align. If you're wearing glasses, you might want to take them off for this. So actually, don't bring your head. I'm gonna start again. Bring your chin over towards your right shoulder as far as it can go. Once you've done that, bring your hand to your temple, and then press head into hand, hand into head. Keep supporting the work of your neck muscles with your Ujjayi breath while you're doing this. So just steady, rhythmic breathing. Notice and feel where your muscles have to engage to press your head into your hand, where they're lengthening. And then release. And we'll do that on the other side. So look over the left shoulder, bringing the chin as far over to the left as you can. And then heel of your hand to your temple so that you can give yourself some resistance here. Your neck muscles get some resistance work. Press your hand into your head and your head into your hand. Check in to make sure that your jaw is not trying to do the work for you here. You really want to use the muscles on the sides of the neck.
You might notice as you're pressing your head into your hand that gradually you're going to get a little bit more range of motion looking over to the left. Release that side. We'll go back over to the right, but this time take your chin and your eyeballs up to the right corner of the room, so where you see the ceiling and the wall meet. So with your chin tilted up, bring your heel of your hand to your temple and press. Hand into head, head into hand. Activate your feet, feeling your feet on the floor as you do the strengthening work with your neck. You've got that ground support and that breath support. Release. Notice and feel what that did in the side of your neck. Look over the left side up to the left juncture of your ceiling and your wall, and then heel to temple. Press. Going a little deeper as you do these exercises, check in with what's happening in your area when you're recruiting these neck muscles to press against the hand and engage. Maybe this is your area. Can you breathe, send your breath support to the muscles that are working here? Release. This time when you look over to the right, look down to where the floor and the wall meet. And then hand to temple. Pressing the hand into the head, using your head to resist your hand. Feed your breath in front of your chest and throat, sides of your neck. Release. Next side. Chin over the left shoulder. Look down where the floor and the wall come together. And then press. Head into hand, hand into head. All right. Come back to sitting in half straddle. So sit back to the floor, on the floor, and then have your right leg straight and your left knee bent. Bring your left hand behind your back. Grab onto the waistband of your pants or your hip or your right thigh with the left hand. From here, inhale and telescope the ribs away from the pelvis. On exhale, the right hand comes to the inside of the right leg and bring your torso over into side bend. Inhale, roll the front of your left shoulder towards the sky. Exhale, relax your neck and slide the right shoulder blade down your back. Go inside here, feel inside to the right side of your neck. If this is tweaking your neck, then stop doing it and modify by looking down with your eyeballs at the floor so that your face is pointing to the floor rather than just relaxing completely over to the side. So I want you to give yourself the freedom and the permission here in your practice in each posture to feel what's gentle and healing for your neck. Strengthening can be healing. Pain not giving. From here, release your arm from behind your back. Reach the left arm straight up towards the, or straight out from your shoulder joint. So it'll be diagonalized rather than straight up at the sky, which kind of makes an impingement in the shoulder. Reach it straight out from the shoulder. And then once you've got that, feel for spreading through your hands, your finger bones and your wrists. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, and let the top hand fall back behind you with gravity. So you're coming into chest and shoulder opener. Katie, feel for spreading your thumb and your pinky apart. So really using this posture to spread in the joints of your wrists, your hand. To come out of the pose, just bring the fingertips back up towards the ceiling. Fingertips come down by the left hip, and then use the top arm to bring the torso back up, leaving the right ear relaxed over to the right, and then use the palm in the hand to lift your head and neck. Anastasia, just do it again. Because we want to train your neck, right? To allow for that gentleness and for that support. Yeah, so really let your hand do it. Nice. And just switch sides. Left leg is straight. Right knee bent. Reach your right hand behind your back. Grab onto your waistband. And then on exhale, left hand to the inside of the left leg. Relax your neck or set your neck intentionally where it can relax comfortably. So it's either left ear falling over to the left shoulder, the face looking down at the floor, or if there's a different modification that you need, do it. Inhale, roll the front of the right shoulder up. Exhale, relax your jaw. Inhale and feel the right side of your rib cage expand with your breath. Feeling the way that the breath helps to open and mobilize your joints. Activate both feet so that you don't go numb in the legs. Release your hand from behind your back. Chest opener. Reach the fingertips straight up from your right shoulder and then lower your pinky a couple inches so you're coming out at a diagonal. From here, inhale, lift and roll the collarbones towards the ceiling. Exhale, let gravity take your hand back behind you, opening the front of the right shoulder into a stretch. Notice, like I just noticed I was doing this. So I was just putting my neck in the position that I habitually put my neck when I do chest opener. When I did that, I noticed now that it's causing some tension in the area that I'm working with. So I need to modify and look down at the floor, which will help me to truly let my neck go. If anyone's like a yoga teacher or teaching on Zoom, this is really important because we just like habitually are looking at our students, no matter what we're doing with our bodies, turning our face towards the camera, right? Which can be a pretty tweaky thing. So don't injure yourselves, teachers. I say this to myself with love. To come out of the pose, bring your fingertips back to the sky, straightening the arm away from the shoulder. Bring right fingertips towards the right hip. Anastasia, I'm looking at you. Inhale, keep your neck relaxed as you use your arm to pull the torso up. And then bring your hand to the side of your face to gently place your neck, and your head back over your spine. Nicely done. Lay down on the floor for elbow to knee and have a block and a rolled up mat nearby. I want to teach you elbow to knee with the head, neck, and shoulders down so that when you're practicing at home, you know how to do abdominals without tweaking your neck if you're working with a neck injury. So for this first round, clasp your hands behind your head and your neck, and then place your hands and your head down on the ground. Then pick your feet up off the floor, bringing the knees over the hips. And of course, if your low back is injured, just keep your feet down. From here, inhale and press your low back into the ground. Hold the breath and curl your tailbone up. On exhale, reach the right leg straight, pull low belly down. The head and the neck stay on the floor. Inhale, come back to center. Feed your breath down into your low back and your belly. Hold the breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, straighten through the left leg. Pull low belly down. And then squeeze the left sit bone around the left tailbone. Inhale, come back to center. Feed your breath down to your belly and low back. Feel your low back spread into the floor. Hold the breath. Curl tailbone up. Keep the head down. Exhale, reach the left leg straight. 45-degree angle. So you can bring it down a little bit more, Anastasia, and see if that helps get into the low belly muscles more. And then pull the belly button down and squeeze the right sit bone in towards the tailbone. Inhale, come back to center. Feed your breath into your low back and your belly. Hold the breath. Curl tailbone up. On exhale, keep the head and the neck down, straightening out through the left leg. Pull low belly down.
Lindsay,
Those of you who do elbow to knee like every day or every week with me or whatever, inhale and come back to center. Spread your low back into the floor. Just notice like what a mind game this is to keep your head and your neck down. Hold the breath, curl tailbone up. This is the last one we'll do like this. And then exhale, straighten through the right leg. Pull your low belly down towards your spine. And Jo Marie, don't put the block between your thighs yet. That's what's going on. Yeah, pull low belly down. All right, inhale, come back to center. Exhale, set your feet down. Okay, here's another one that you can do with your, without using your head and your neck. So for the next one, grab your block, place your block on your left thigh. Knees are bent. And actually go ahead and pick up your feet. So the knees are bent at 90. Place your block on your left thigh. And then place your right hand on the block. Press your hand into the block and your thigh into the block. So feel how that engages the core abdominals right there. Inhale, the other leg, reach skyward. Exhale, lower the arm and lower the leg. Keep pressing your thigh and hand into the block. Inhale, bring the opposite leg and hand back up. Exhale, lower the leg, lower the arm, continue the press. Inhale, come up. Find some rhythm in this. Exhale, come down. The rhythmic movement here that helps to soothe and downregulate the nervous system. So keep going with your breath, coming up on inhale, lowering the limbs down on exhale, and continue to press all throughout the thigh and the hand into the block.
And as you get into the core work and the abdominals here, just notice if you're like tensing and bracing in your area because your core is working really hard. And find out if you can wash your breath in there and bring in a little bit more gentleness and release. Because chances are you don't need any help from anything that you've got going on in your neck or your jaw or your shoulders. Switch sides. Bend the right knee. Left hand to the block. Right knee in and thigh into the block. Reach the fingertips skyward. Spread through your hands and your feet. Inhale. Pressing into the block. And then exhale. Lowering down. And the feet and the hand stay active throughout the whole exercise here. Notice if it's any easier to relax your jaw and keep your face muscles and the front of your throat and the back of your neck relaxed when you keep your head and your chest down in abdominals. And do a couple more until you feel like you're even on the second side. And then set the feet down. From here, you can use your block or your rolled up mat for 3-part twisting abs with a mat. Bring your rolled up mat onto pubic bone. Reach the feet skyward. And Katie, with your hamstring injury, I would say bend your knees or keep your feet even on the floor, depending on how it feels. Hands clasped behind your head and your neck. Ooh, and bring your feet down because I want to say something else. I don't want to leave your legs hanging there. So just keep your prop where it is. So I've talked in some other classes about the different hand positions you can have for your head and your neck when you're doing these abdominals. Try doing it tonight with more of like this neck traction, neck bracing position. So actually bring the heels of your hands, and you have to feel for this because I know you can't see me, to either side of your neck. So you don't have your hands cradling your head in this version. Bring the heels of your hands around the sides of your neck, elbows point up. Okay, and then 3-part twisting abs with a roll. So your options are to do this with your feet on the floor, knees bent, or legs straight. Inhale. Fill up your belly and your low back with your breath. Hold the breath. Squeeze the roll. Squeeze sit bones, curl tailbone. Exhale, lift your elbows skyward. Inhale, fill your belly with your breath. Head and chest stay lifting. Hold the breath. Squeeze the roll, squeeze sit bones, curl tailbone up. On exhale, elbows reach towards the left thigh. Pull low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Head and chest stay lifting. Hold breath. Squeeze the roll between your thighs. Squeeze your sit bones towards each other. Curl tailbone up. And then exhale, reach both elbows toward your right thigh, pulling low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Stay lifting. Hold breath. Squeeze onto the roll. Squeeze your sit bones in towards each other. And then exhale, reach elbows skyward, pull low belly down, squeeze the roll one more time. Inhale, release your head and your neck down. Take a breath into your area. Exhale. One more round here. Inhale, press your low back into the floor. Hold the breath. Squeeze the roll, curl tailbone up. And then on exhale, reach both elbows towards the right thigh. Pull low belly down. Squeeze roll. Inhale, come back to center, head and chest, stay lifting.
Hold your breath, squeeze onto the roll, squeeze the sit bones in towards the tailbone, and then exhale, reach both elbows towards your left thigh. Hold, low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold breath. Squeeze onto the roll, squeeze the sit bones in towards each other, and then exhale, curl tailbone, reach elbows skyward, pull low belly down without straining or bracing or hardening in your neck or in your area. Inhale, release the head to the floor. Exhale, set your feet down. Set the roll aside, and then roll on over to your side. So I hope that gave you some tools that you can use in practice with me or any other time for working in a different, modified, and healing way with your neck when it needs it. All right, the next pose is turbo puppy. Come to hands and knees. Hands underneath your shoulders, and then walk your hands out in front of your shoulders 4 or 5 inches. Bend the knees, bend the elbows, that's what those things are, towards the floor. Hug and tweeze your elbows in towards each other. So Abby, this is a place to play with how to spread your fingers and distribute your weight in a way that works for your injured hand. Inhale, balloon your breath into your upper back. Exhale, wrap your shoulder blades towards your armpits, hugging the upper arms towards each other. Inhale, find out if it feels okay for you here to relax your head and your neck. Exhale, press the thumb and the pointer finger and the pinky into the ground. This is another place to feel for pulling the forearms away from the wrists. All right, from here, if you either stay in turbo puppy or come on into turbo dog by tucking the toes, straightening the legs any amount, keep the elbows bent deeply. When you come into turbo dog and start working intensely in the upper back and your shoulders, notice what happens in your area. Wash a big breath right now up into your area, giving it that gentle quality and breath support. Go ahead and release the knees and come on up to stand at the front of your mat. Next, we'll do sun salutations and have your block nearby. In yoga tune-up, that move we did at the beginning with the block behind your head is called block head. We're going to use that one again. So step to the front of your mat in mountain pose. And you don't need your block in your hands right now. You'll just have it nearby. Bring your hands back to your area if it's a place that you can touch with your hands. Take a really big breath up underneath your hands, just feeling for and noticing what's going on in your area. Feel and notice for anything that's changed, relaxed or released a little bit, or maybe shifted in your area. Release your hands. Lift and spread your toes so that you can feel the bones of your feet connecting and grounding into the floor. If you're working with a hamstring injury, this is a place to bend your knees slightly, engage your quads. Inhale, reach fingertips skyward. Exhale, bend the knees a lot if you need to come into forward fold, laying your ribs on your thighs. Inhale, step the left foot back for 90-90 lunge. And pad your knees when you come into lunges if your knees need the padding. Most of us do. So you'll have your knees at 90 to 90 here, and then grab your block. So we'll do that block head move. The fronts of your fingers wrap around the front of the block. Elbows hug in towards each other. Lift the block up and bring it to the base of your skull. Press your head into the block and the block into your head. Wrap your shoulder blades and hug your arms in towards each other. So noticing that you have to do quite a bit more stabilizing work here to keep your hips, your pelvis, and your ribs from dumping or thrusting. So first thing here is to squeeze the sit bones around the tailbone. And then feel for pulling the low belly in, knitting the fronts of the ribs together. Keeping that stability in your legs, your hips, and your abdomen while you do the work with your neck to press into the block. Release, reach the block overhead, and then set it down. Hands come to either side of your front foot, step back for plank. Lower your knees. Hug upper arm bones in towards you. Feel for sending your elbows back towards your feet as you lower down. Low cobra, walk your hands in front of your shoulders. Pubic bone presses down. Inhale and draw your collarbones towards your fingertips as you come up. Exhale, draw the ribs towards the hands, lower down. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Press back for downward dog. You can do a turbo dog if you want to. Notice what you do habitually with your chin and your throat and your neck and your area in downward dog. And just decide if in your practice tonight, you want to do something different. Inhale, step the right foot forward for 90-90 lunge. Pad the knee, left foot forward. Pad the knee on the right side and grab your block. Reach the block out in front of you, fingertips wrap around the front edges of the block. Reach your block up and then place it back on your skull. Hugging elbows in towards each other, press your head into the block. Stay in the pose. I can see how you're doing. So Summer, feel for how much of a double chin can you make? Just notice that that's like brings different muscles into it, right? Yeah. Ribs knit in towards each other. Jo Marie, relax your neck, even if you're, relax your jaw, even while you make a double chin. This is advanced yoga. Relax your jaw and make a double chin, she said. To come out of the pose, inhale and reach the block towards the ceiling. Nice, set it down. Hands to either side of your front foot, forward fold. Inhale, come up to standing. Exhale, hands together in front of your sternum. Inhale, reach the hands skyward, and then exhale, fold forward. On the next inhale, you'll step your right foot back for lounge lunge. To set up for lounge lunge, I'm trying to get my whole body in the camera, which is hard tonight. To set up for lounge lunge, thank you for being patient with me there. Bring your right hand to the ground and then walk the right hand out like 5 or 6 inches in front of your right shoulder. Your left forearm comes around the outside of your left thigh and shin. Your fingertips can come around your shin. Inhale, press the top of the right foot into the ground and send the right side of your ribs towards your right arm. Exhale, twist the collarbones and the ribs towards your front knee. Inhale, feel the
Breath expand between the ribs on the right side, and then exhale, slide the ribs towards the right arm. Let your right shoulder hike way up and be a resting place for your head and your neck. As you lay your head on your right shoulder, feeling that quality of tenderness and gentleness with your head and your neck. Press both feet into the floor. Release. Hands to either side of the front foot. Step back into plank. Chaturanga. So either lowering or not lowering your knees. Hug arm bones in towards the ribs. Come all the way down. Walk your hands in front of your shoulders. Low cobra. Exhale, drag the ribs forward towards the fingertips as you lower down. Hands come underneath shoulders, downward facing dog. Wrap your shoulder blades towards your armpits in downward dog, turning on serratus muscles. And then just notice what your head is doing habitually and decide if you want to do something different. Inhale, step the right foot forward between the hands for lounge lunge. Take the left hand and walk it 6 inches out in front of your left shoulder. Grab onto the outside of your right thigh and shin with your right forearm and hand. Take an inhale here. Press the top of the left foot into the floor, and then on exhale, lounge the left side of your ribs towards your left arm and armpit. Keep using the strength in your right arm to hug the front leg in towards your midline. Inhale, expand into your ribs, and then exhale, twist your torso and your chest towards the front leg. Allow your head to rest gently on the left shoulder. Inhale and balloon your breath into your area, feeding your breath support to the healing work that you're doing for your area. Release, hands to either side of the front foot and step forward for forward fold. Inhale, come up to standing, hands together at the sternum. Inhale, reach the fingertips skyward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the left foot back for lunge. You can stick with 90-90, or you can bring the knee back behind the hip. Your choice. Hands can stay on the floor, front thigh, or reach skyward. Inhale. Telescope your ribs away from your pelvis, and exhale, press the feet into the floor and feel the sit bones squeeze towards the tailbone. Exhale, hands to either side of your front foot. Keep your neck long as you step back for plank. Lowering down towards the floor, send elbows back towards your feet. Plug the tops of the feet and the pubic bone to the ground so that you can inhale and pull forward to come up into cobra. Exhale, come back down. Hands come underneath the shoulders if you move them, and press back to downward dog. Stay there. From downward dog, inhale and step your left foot forward for lunge. You can be 90-90 or have the knee back behind the hip. Your hands could stay down, come to your thigh, or reach skyward. Inhale and feel both sides of your waist and armpits lift away from your pelvis. Exhale, hug glutes in towards the tailbone. Inhale. Jo Marie, if that feels awesome on your neck, keep doing that. But if looking up at the ceiling is just the habit, figure out what's healing to do with your head and your neck in this pose. Exhale, hands to either side of your front foot. Step forward for forward fold.
Well, I was a little lost. Is this kind of like a warrior pose?
It's low lunge.
Low lunge. Oh,
Yeah. But now we're back, rolling back up to standing at the front of the mat. We'll move from here into a standing series. Are you all able to hear me okay, or should I speak up?
no, it's fine.
Okay, great. So just stand for a standing pose series, just stand in the middle of your mat. And then step your feet wide. And come into warrior two. So you'll turn your left toes forward, turned out, and the back toes on the right leg are turning in about 30 degrees. Check your alignment. So you want your front heel lined up about with your back arch, if that works for your body. If you do something different, by all means. Catherine, for your hamstring here, you're fine on this side because it's your left side. So just feel for it contracting a lot, especially where it connects to the knee, and we'll maybe do something different on the other side. This is a variation of kite hawk. Bring your arms straight out from your shoulders, and then roll your thumbs so they point up at the ceiling. So you're in warrior two, reaching the arms out, and then the thumbs point up towards the ceiling. Inhale here and roll your thumbs back behind you as far as you can. So rolling your thumbs, your wrists, your forearms back. And then on exhale, roll the other way. So you're rolling your thumbs forward and then under. And just keep working in that way. Inhale, roll the palms up, open and back. Exhale, roll forward. Feeling for the movement coming from the thumbs, the wrists, the forearms, and the shoulders. Inhale, open. Exhale, forward. Inhaling, come back to neutral. Coming into side angle variation. So bring your right hand behind your back, grab onto your clothing, your hip or your thigh, and then bring the left forearm to your thigh. Get curious here with what works for your neck in this pose. Do something that's gentle and healing with your neck. And that might be relaxing the left ear to the right shoulder. It might mean you take your gaze to the floor. It might mean you take your eyes to the sky. Inhale and press into both of your feet. And then exhale, feeling for sliding your left shoulder blade down your back. Next, inhale, feed your breath into the area that you're working with and feel for what's your breath access like when you're in this position. From here, we're going to head to ankle prep. So keep your feet where they are. Bring your right hand to the ground in between your legs. Left hand grabs onto your left thigh. Press your left elbow, arm straight and arc your ribs towards your back foot. Use your hand to send your thigh, your left thigh bone away from your left hip.
Let your head and your neck go. Lift and spread the toes. And on your next inhale, breathe into where you're feeling the opening and the space that this pose creates. And the left side of your back or ribs or hip. Release head to ankle prep. Bring both hands to the ground. Straddle forward bend here. And then we'll come into flank stretch. For flank stretch, right hand comes to the top of the left foot. And then you'll bring your left hand on top of the right hand. Or if your hamstrings are more flexible, bring the top hand to the outside of the foot. So Catherine, bend the knees a lot here to protect your hamstrings. And it doesn't really matter what you're doing with your hamstrings because the purpose for this pose is to open and stretch the right side of your shoulder and rib cage. So really bend the knees a lot. Inhale, bringing your awareness back to what you're doing with your head and your neck. And just check in, like, is that the thing that's helpful and healing to do, or is your head just habitually bracing or holding? Release, turn towards the front foot, the left foot, face the left toes forward, and then set the right knee down. Setting up for nomad's pose. So use your blocks if you need them on either side of the front foot. And so Catherine, for you, since you're not gonna benefit from a real deep hamstring stretch here, bend your knee a lot. Flex the toes in towards the shin. See if that gives you a good calf stretch or not. Otherwise, you can point your toes down towards the ground. And then what you'll work with here is getting length in your spine. Press the hands down, and then everybody feel for lifting and lengthening your side, waist, and ribs away from your hips. Inhale and balloon your breath into your lower and middle back. Exhale. Square off your hips. I think of the right thing to say there. And for most of us, that's going to require pulling the front of the right hip back. Release, bend in your front knee and come into a 90-90 lunge. Twisting lunge. So pad your back knee, your right knee if it needs padding. Take an inhale. On exhale, right elbow comes across left thigh. Make a fist with your right hand and bring your left palm on top of it. Twisting lunge. From twisting lunge, lay your chest back behind you so that you feel your heart and your collarbones move away from your hands. Inhale. Feel for what are you doing with your neck. Exhale, you can relax your right ear towards your right shoulder to let your neck go. You can put your eyes to the floor, turning your face down or turning your neck up. Just do for yourself right now what feels like a healing position for your neck so that your legs, your hips, your torso, your arms get to do the work of the pose. Exhale, grab one of your blocks. The next pose is twisting triangle.
Tuck the back toes under and straighten through both legs. Bring the right hand to your foot, your shin, or a block. Place the left hand on your low back or sacrum, and you can stay here. Or you can reach the left fingertips skyward. Inhale and feel for lengthening your ribs, the sides of your waist away from your hips. Exhale, squeeze your inner legs towards each other and open your heart. Release, untwist. Hands come to either side of your front foot for low lunge again with brain cradling. So pad your right knee. Interlace your fingers and bring your hands to the base of your skull. We are not doing this with the intention tonight of coming into a big deep back bend because we're not warmed up for that. So what I want you to feel for instead with brain cradling is using your hands and your arms to actually hook onto your skull and lift and lengthen your skull bones away from your neck. Press your back foot and shin into the floor, press into your front heel. And then holding this position, close your eyes if it helps you to wash your breath up into your brain and giving yourself like a nice cleansing breath, brainwashing here. Come on up and release. We'll keep going. So if you have a block, use it for this. And if you don't have a block, don't worry about it. Grab your block, you're in forward fold here, right? And then step your feet forward. So you're just in a standing forward fold. Step your left foot onto the block and keep your right foot on the floor. This is an asymmetrical forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to get the fingertips to the floor. And then from here, walking your fingers over to the right as much as you can. Everyone but Catherine or anyone else who's hamstring injured, press your foot into the block and then feel for straightening your leg any amount that you can. Inhale, ballooning your breath into your belly and your upper back and your area. Exhale, let your head and your neck go. Okay, so practice your auditory listening skills here since you're over in a forward fold and you can't see me. Keep your left foot on the block and walk your fingertips back to the floor. If you don't have a block that you're working with tonight, that's fine. Just have both feet on the floor. Otherwise, coming into standing splits with your foot on the block. So reach the right leg up behind you. Keeping your hands or your fingers on the floor. Strong line of energy in the right leg. Strong line of energy in the left leg. Feel how the inversion here, the force of gravity pulling your head towards the ground helps to traction and create space in your neck vertebra. One more really big inhale and then exhale and bring the right foot to the ground, step off your block and roll on it. That was one side. Second side. Step your feet wide, right foot faces forward, left foot is turned in. Reach your arms out, thumbs towards the sky. Inhale, roll your thumbs back. So we're in warrior two. Roll the thumbs back behind you And then on exhale, roll the thumbs, the wrists, the forearms, the elbows, and the shoulders forward. Keep going with your rhythm here. Inhale, rolling open. And then exhale, rolling back, keeping a deep bend in the front knee. Come back to neutral with your arms. Bring your left hand across your low back for side angle variation. And then the right forearm comes to the thigh. Inhale, so Abby, press into your right forearm and then lift your ribs and your chest up. Nice. Slide your right shoulder blade down the back and then put your neck where it's like helpful and healing for you. Inhale, balloon your breath into your chest and especially the front of your left shoulder. Exhale and send your tailbone towards your back heel, lengthening the low back. Inhale and feed your next breath to the area that you're working with tonight. Feeding in this quality of gentleness and healing. Head to ankle prep. Release your arm from behind your back and place the left hand on the floor in between your feet. Grab onto your right thigh with your right hand and then press your right arm towards straight as you arc the ribs towards your back leg. Inhale, feeling for pulling the right side of your rib cage away from your front hip and pelvis, and then exhale, rebend your front knee. Inhale, balloon your breath into the right side of your low back and your hips, spreading the breath where you feel like you're creating space in the pose. Release. Turn the toes into a forward facing straddle forward fold. And then walk the hands over to the right foot. Left hand comes to right foot for flank stretch. The right hand might come on top of the left hand or come to the outside of your foot. Remembering to bend your knees to protect any hamstring issues. As you arc the left side of your ribs over to the left and let your head just hang. Feel for getting a really huge breath up and underneath and all around your area in this pose. Exhale, check that your jaw is released and relaxed. Coming out of the pose, walk the hands back to either side of the right foot and set the left knee down for nomad's pose. Squaring off your hips, lengthening through the front leg and the back of the knee and the calf. And you can feel for the difference when you flex the toes towards the shin on the front knee versus point them towards the ground. Feel for what's more useful for you. Inhale, press the hands down, send the hips back, and then lengthen the sides of the waist and the ribs out over the front thigh. Feeling for length in the back of your neck. So maybe it feels good for you to let the chin hang towards the sternum. Maybe not. Set the front foot down, rebend that knee, coming into twisting lunge. Bring the left elbow across the thigh, make a fist with your left hand, and bring your right hand on top of it. Inhale, roll the chest and the shoulders open, and then exhale, lay back. Find out where is the right place for you, for your head and your neck in this pose. Stay in the pose for a few more breaths. Inhale and expand both sides of your ribs, your back. Anastasia, really point your top elbow towards the ceiling. Yeah. And then lay the collarbones back behind you so you get space between your chest and your hands. And then, yeah. Release from that pose. Twisting triangle. Have a block if you need it. Straightening both legs. Right hand comes to the left hand comes to the shin or the foot or the block. Bring your right hand onto your low back or sacrum. And you can keep your hand there on your low back or your sacrum, or reach the arm skyward. And twisting triangle, feeling for squeezing the inner legs together. So keeping those strong lines of energy and support in your legs. Stabilizing your pelvis so that you can press down into your left hand and inhale. Roll the torso and the chest open into your twist. Release, hands to either side of the front foot. Low lunge with brain cradling. Sink your hips down, bring your hands behind your skull bones. And then using your arms to lift and lengthen your skull away from your spine. Hold the low belly and the low ribs in. Press down into your back foot and the front foot, pressing into the front heel. Inhale, come up. Asymmetrical standing twist. So have your block in front of you, come into standing forward fold. Step your right foot onto your block and then walk your hands as far over to the left as you can get them. From here, straighten the right leg any amount that you can. And feel for where you can get really spacious with your breath in this pose. So like feeling for inhaling and pressing your belly into your front thigh, filling up your low back and both sides of your ribs and your waist. Feeling for gently releasing your head and your neck. Doing any little moves that it takes for you to help coax your neck and your throat into letting go. Walk hands back to either side of your front foot. Standing splits on the block. Lengthen left leg skyward. Lengthen your head towards the ground. So inversions help us to traction the spine, the head, and the neck. One more big inhale here.
Strong line of energy through the back leg, and then to come out of the pose, lower the leg down, come into standing, and then just roll on up. Sorry, come into forward fold. And roll up. Sit down on your mat. Lay yourself back on your back. Have your knees bent as you lay back to get set up for Shavasana. Press down into your feet and lift your hips up off the floor. Curl your tailbone and lengthen the pelvis away from your low back, and then go ahead and set it down. Straighten out your right leg and then your left leg. From here, pick up your left shoulder and wrap your left shoulder blade underneath your back and then set it down. Pick up your right shoulder, roll the right shoulder blade underneath your back and set that shoulder blade down. Pick up your left buttocks, your left sit bone, right? Reach the left sit bone away from the left side of your waist and then set it down. Pick up your right glute. Reach the right sit bone away from your low back and then set that down. Allow yourself to gently release here into Shavasana, final relaxation pose. If your low back is tweaky, rebend your knees, step your feet as wide as your mat, and then lean your knees in towards each other. Feel how that allows your low back to get more support from the floor. With your next inhale, feed your breath into your area. You can even bring your hands back to your area if that helps you to guide and coax your breath in. Notice and feel for what shifted or changed in your area. Notice and feel for what shifted and changed in your body after spending the last hour and a half feeding in this sacred and high quality of Ujjayi breath.
Bring your awareness back to the quality of your breath. Coming back to your intention to feed your breath into your area and deliberately use your breath to fill up and support the area that you worked with in your practice tonight. Making your way out of Shavasana, go ahead and rebend one knee, stepping your foot to the floor, and then bending the other knee. Roll yourself over to one side. Pause on your side for a few more breaths. And then go ahead and gently press yourself up to sitting, leaving your head and your neck relaxed, leaving your area relaxed and unbraced. And then you'll bring a hand to the side of your head and lift your head and neck back up to center. Katie, let's do that again. So you had your chin hanging straight over, yeah? Which is great. Bring your heel of your hand from there to your forehead. And then go slowly and use the heel of your hand to lift your head and your neck back up to center. Beautiful. This area that we were working around tonight, I was just reading about it in The Anatomy of Spirit. The throat, the thyroid, the trachea, esophagus, parathyroid, hypothalamus, neck vertebrae, mouth, jaw, and teeth. It's the 5th chakra area. And it all has to do with the nature and the power of choice. So like willpower. And the strength of this area is it's your faith, your self-knowledge, and your personal authority. So it is your capacity to make decisions, knowing that no matter what decisions we make, we can keep our word to ourselves or to another person. And the reason I'm sort of reading that and trying to get into like the maybe deeper level there is so we can feel for breathing in and supporting this area and really like turning on the strength of knowing that we know our own will and know how to choose for ourselves. Have a good night, you all.
Thank you.